York City now realizing, what do you know? Maybe we actually do need borders. And now the ladies on The View are actually realizing that maybe you can't just have open borders. They don't want, you see, they don't want migrants in their city. They're like, leave them in El Paso. I mean, unbelievable, unbelievably wrong. But here's Eric Adams. I've played this for you before. He just came out this week and he went off and he said, New York City is going to be destroyed. You bet it will be. You bet it will be, Eric. And you know what? The whole country too.
Support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
You bet it will.
Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico.
That's what happens when you have no borders.
Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We had a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city.
You know what? No one wants to live in New York City anymore. Anybody with money has moved out.
And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs
education.
Live in this community.
You can't figure this out.
So as you asked me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us?
No, you can't.
How many of you were part of
that would be against the Democrat Party's
we're
mandate?
Seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City. It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it.
Yeah, all of us will be impacted by this. This is a live show, and I'm looking at some of your comments. I see someone joining us from El Paso, Texas. You heard me just mention El Paso, Texas. In other words, this is this idea, like, just let it stay in Texas. It's Texas's problem. I'm sorry, we're a country. And if Texas is part of our country, we protect our borders. We don't allow this. And Texas has every right to send all of these people anywhere. Send them to the sanctuary cities. And you know what's going to happen? The sanctuary cities aren't going to be very happy about it. Maybe the Democrats are starting to figure this out. The ladies on The View, they're starting to figure this out, maybe because it doesn't play in Peoria, as they say. Listen to this. Here's The View this week, and we're starting to hear something slightly different because you know what? They don't want it in their backyard. They're known as NIMBYs, not in my backyard. Here we go.
But frankly, you know, I think we need to find, and we've dealt with this before. I lived in Miami. I was a migrant, an immigrant in Miami in the 80s. You'll remember when we had the Mariel boat lift. Yes. 125,000 Cubans came in a matter of 6 months. It puts tremendous stress on a city, on a community, on the social services. They need to be resettled elsewhere.
They need to be out. We're this massive country.
But it's only going to get worse with global warming and climate change because people can't live in certain parts of this world.
It all comes back to climate change and global warming with joy, of course. You know, I probably was trying, well, how do I deal with this one? I can't disagree with her. So let's just make it about climate change. I'm sorry. You know what? Get a clue. Get a clue. Unless you want to go in and take over all of Latin and South America and demand that they pay taxes and say, okay, we're one big happy country. The truth is you are the United States of America, and that doesn't include Mexico. And it doesn't include Venezuela or Ecuador or any of these places. It is the United States of America, and we have a border. And if you're going to say, come on in, it's Texas's problem, and then you freak out when people show up in the likes of New York City or Chicago or Martha's Vineyard, I'm sorry. We're not falling for that. Here is a woman in Chicago who is not happy. We've seen this now a couple times this week coming to us out of Chicago. Residents furious, as they should be.
I don't want them there. Take them someplace else or send them back
It's a little hard to hear. She's saying, I don't want them there.
This is wrong.
It's wrong.
73% of the people homeless in this city are black people.
She's pointing out that there's a very high percentage of black homeless people.
Migrants moving into the Lakeshore Hotel for 6 months.
And the migrants, how do you like that? Get 6 months of a hotel stay. I mean, hey, why not come to America? You get to live in a hotel for 6 months, rent free. I will say this. These lousy policies, they're catching up to Democrats, just like that Minneapolis woman is, having a moment of truth, a moment of realization, a moment of crystallization as she realizes that her city is out of control and you can't live without the police. The Democrats are suddenly saying, okay, we got a border problem. Apparently, this is kind of an issue. And you know what? Our constituents aren't very happy.